Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf, the podcast. A serial killer drama.
Eleanor. I thought I was prepared. I'd interviewed murderers before. I'd read the copy and spoken to the cult leaders. I'd read the confessions of war criminals. Men who smiled while describing things that should have kept them awake forever. Will didn't feel like them. They felt human. He felt other. Like, I couldn't judge him in the same way I could judge human. Those evil humans had not engendered fear in me like this. I coughed and cleared my throat. I knew he could sense my discomfort at his mere presence. I started to record the way journalists always do, with a small, ceremonial click, like striking a match in a cave and hoping it would be enough light. Will watched me do it, amused. Everything seemed to amuse him. I looked at the man and met those almond-coloured eyes. They were inhuman. It came out a bit croaky. I reached for the bottle of water and fumbled with the lid a couple of times before finally managing to open it. I took a sip. Most of the sip went down my front. I jumped in my seat and wiped myself down with the sleeve of my cardie. I knew this would be smirked at by him. I blushed red in the cheeks but fought hard to reduce it, making it so much worse. I met the werewolf's eyes again. He showed nothing. Nothing. No laughing smile. No sneer of disdain. Was he being nice? Sorry, I apologised. I just apologised to him for pouring water down myself. Oh, Eleanor, how embarrassing. He smiled. Kindly. Or it seemed that way. Could he be kind? I still haven't got used to these lids that are stuck on the bottles when you take them off, I told him. I think it's some type of environmental feature, you know, that the bottle lid and the... I went quiet for some unknown reason. He smiled again.
Take your time,
he reassured me. I did that thing that newsreaders used to do with their stacks of paper at the start of a broadcast, you know, to straighten them. Tap, tap, tap. I don't know why I did it. Nothing I did here felt typical. All of this was untypical. Straightening the straight papers was just a thing to do. I placed the neat pile carefully down before me, straightened my glasses and pushed back a wisp of hair that had fallen on my face from a high ponytail, and smiled. Deep breath. Why did you choose to be a monster? Boom! He laughed. Not the bark of a madman, not the sneer of someone offended, just a short, disbelieving sound, as if I'd asked him whether the sky was still up.
A monster?
He said.
Wow, that was right down to the point. I admire that.
That gave me a little warm feeling inside. That little compliment instantly worried me. No, not the compliment that I had had. That warm feeling that I had had. Did I fancy him? Fancy him? What am I, 15? Already I felt the ground shift further in this man's favour.
I didn't really choose to be a monster, did I, Fen?
He said to the corner of the room. If I sort of looked with the corner of my eye and squinted, I could see the outline of a giant wolf that sat in the corner. The wolf's all laughed in response to Will's words. I was starting to see and hear the invisible, and... is it inaudible? I would have to look that up.
It was kind of his fault. I was a baby when, he came along.
He pointed a thumb over his shoulder at the wolf-filled space.
Anyway, regarding the subtle question you asked, who do you think the real monsters are, Eleanor?
He always had to use this as an excuse. He was a product of his kind. Humans were evil, yada, yada, yada. He leaned forward in his seat, placing his elbows on the table. He folded his arms and rested his chin on those muscular forearms. He was preparing to deliver his tough response. Once he settled, those eyes looked into me. I tried damn hard, but I couldn't hold eye contact. So I looked at my notes as if considering them or reading something from them. I tried to steer the conversation back. You killed people. That wasn't an abstract point, that was fact. There were bodies to prove it.
Yes, you're right, but do you know what? You let people die.
He said calmly. I don't let anyone die, Will, do I? Be sensible.
Do you not? Rescued any dying orphans from the streets of Calcutta recently?
He paused.
Have you got space in your house for a homeless veteran thinking about suicide because of the way his life has turned out?
He smiled.
Do you own, let's totally edgelord this, a smartphone made in China?
He sat back in his seat and smiled.
And that's just you, Eleanor.
He winked. I remember blinking at that. Actually blinking, as if I could physically clear the moment away. I had nothing. He continued, not angrily, not passionately, but with the precision that unnerved me far more than shouting ever could.
Then there are the others, of your species.
And then he began to wax lyrically on about us. He talked about slaughter made efficient, about death turned into policy, into supply chains, budgets, and doctrines with neat acronyms. I wanted to interrupt him. I should have interrupted him, but I had nothing to interrupt him with. Instead, I just listened. He spoke about cities erased, about shadows burned into concrete, about killing done by people who would never have to smell it, see it, or remember it. He spoke about enthusiasm, not war, not necessity, but almost the cheerful way humans lean into violence when it's wrapped in flags and language soft enough to dull the horror. When he mentioned other hominoid species, cousins of ours, erased not by accident but by our arrival, I felt something inside me tighten. Extinction happens, I said weakly.
And you happened to them?
He replied. That sentence will stay with me for the rest of my life. I didn't do it, I countered with petulance.
What do you do about the things you do?
In my head I thought of myself as a good person. I had no answer really for the lack of my saving Calcutta's orphans. I had something that was good for the world. I'm a vegan, I stuttered. Once I said it, I felt stupid and pathetic. I was ready for his rebuke. He just looked at me. I could see he was having a mental battle to be nice or not. I think he chose nice. I think. He said nothing. His face did not change. He just looked at me. I was impressed that he had a chance to humiliate me in my stupid answer, but didn't. In my head, I was actually thankful. I had made a catastrophic mistake. I had assumed Will was ignorant of the world outside his own brutality. I had expected deflection, nihilism, madness. What I got was history and a fuck ton of philosophy that was difficult to argue with. He talked about animals killed in absentia, about oceans emptied, about forests reduced to numbers on a report. He didn't dramatise it. He didn't need to. The facts did the work for him. I accused him of deflecting, for excusing his actions. He said he was contextualising. I remember feeling angry at the word, angry because it fit, clever bloody bastard. He admitted he was bad, he admitted that he had killed and that he enjoyed it. When he smiled, it wasn't triumph, it was sadness, and that frightened me more than anything else.
You call me a monster because I'm honest about what I am then?
He told me.
I kill with my hands, you outsource it.
You don't even know how many or when you have killed. I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell him he was wrong, that intention mattered, that morality mattered. But I could feel my hands shaking. He talked about consumption, not just food, but lives, labour, distance, how easy it is to benefit from suffering when you have never had to look at it directly in the eye. When he said,
You enjoy pretending, don't you?
Something inside me broke. I stood up then. I couldn't stay seated. I accused him of enjoying the harm he caused.
Yes,
He said.
And is it no worse that you don't enjoy causing harm, but allow it to happen anyway?
He threw me what is the Americans call it, a swerve ball?
Do you know why heaven only feeds its residents milk and honey?
I started to talk, but nothing came. What? What has that got to do with anything?
You're a practicing Christian, yeah?
Well, when you know it's real because you meet the devil and God's angels at a cheese and wine get-together, then yes.
So why do they serve only milk and honey? You're a vegan, yeah?
I nodded.
Do you eat honey or bother with lactated liquids?
I shook my head in a no.
Why?
Because they're made by animals. That's unvegan.
Correct.
He smiled.
So why would they be the only food available in heaven?
He paused, waiting for an answer. I didn't have one. He smiled.
Struggling a little there, champ? Should they not offer, I don't know, is it lentils?
I shrugged my shoulders.
Okay, I'll help you out here. Milk and honey are served because they are attained in the right way. The right way is important. If they're taken in the right way, nothing dies or suffers, not even a plant.
He smiled. There was a moment I understood that this is no longer an interview, it was an indictment. So because everyone kills, I asked, but you just do it so obviously you're better than us?
No.
He laughed.
I'm better than you for many, many more reasons than that. Just my being a monster is much clearer.
He put air quotes around the keyword monster. Silence fell. Time passed as my mind raced to argue nothing. He yawned and stretched like the predator he was. The recorder was still running. I hadn't stopped it. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me knew this was important, or maybe I was frozen. I wasn't afraid of him hurting me. I was afraid that if I kept listening, I wouldn't be able to pretend anymore. And I didn't know what scares me more, the fact that Will exists, or the possibility that he's right.
The Professor. The lights in my office were still on long after the rest of the building had surrendered to darkness. That wasn't unusual. Universities sleep lightly, especially when they're named after men who refuse to stay dead. For the record, that's yours truly, obviously. Tell me again, I said, mildly, eyes never leaving the folio open on my desk. The name of the man in custody. There was a pause on the other end of the line, a breath drawn.
You know him, Nicha.
Ben Johnson replied.
Now I've fixed the dress, picked him up an hour ago.
I turned a page. Old vellum, old ink. The sort of book that remembered things better than people did. And the body? I ventured. Ben didn't hesitate.
Belphastus, or at least that's the name you gave, wasn't it?
Yes, I said. That will do. Another pause. I could picture Ben in the custody suite, jacket off, sleeves rolled, the fluorescent lights doing him no favours.
We searched Nicha before putting him in the cell.
Ben continued.
Standard procedure. He had only one thing on him.
My pen stopped moving.
A ring.
Ben said.
Unusual. But no inscription. He was gripping it like he thought we was going to take it, off him with his hand.
I smiled, just a little. Good. And you logged it?
Yeah, it's all bagged and tagged.
Ben said. Could you unbag and untag it for me by any chance? Pause.
It's a bit difficult now. It's been recorded, isn't it?
Pause. I'll take responsibility, as usual.
All right.
Then, carefully.
What do you want done with it?
Oh, nothing, I replied. For now, at least. Ben exhaled through his nose.
And this Nicha bloke, do we untag him and unbag him too?
I laughed. No, Ben. I closed the folio. Book him, I said. After all, chap's committed murder. The silence this time was heavier.
Professor?
Ben said, and I could hear the word he didn't say. Simon.
You know what state he's in. He's homeless, frightened. He kept saying someone told him to do it.
People say many things when they're afraid, I replied pleasantly. That doesn't absolve them of choice. Ben shifted. I imagined him glancing back towards the holding cells.
He was manipulated.
Ben whispered into the phone as though he was worried about being overheard.
You know that. Whoever Belphastus was, he didn't exactly stumble in that alley by accident, did he?
No, I agreed. He certainly did not.
Then, as this just?
Ben asked, the edge creeping into his voice now. I leaned back in my chair and looked out of the window, down at the quiet Leicester streets. Justice, I said, is not my concern. Harshly. That stopped him. Knew it would. Nicha had free will, I continued. He was not possessed. He was not compelled. He was bloody angry, resentful, and presented with an opportunity. And he chose violence. Ben fell into silence as he thought about his answer to this carefully.
You want him punished then?
Ben said quietly. I want him processed, I corrected. There is a difference, is there not?
What about the people who pushed him then?
Ben asked. They will answer in their own time, I said. Not yours. And I would answer. I would answer to a lot of things when the time came. Something I was resigned to centuries ago. Another long silence. And then, reluctantly,
All right, you're the boss.
Ben said.
I'll buck him for murder.
Thank you, Detective, I said. Oh, and Ben,
Yeah?
make sure that damned ring gets lost. Pause. Make sure it falls into your pocket and held safe, please. Another pause. A I'm not happy, Ben type of pause. The line went dead. I returned to my work. My last thought on Nicha before he became just another poor unfortunate victim. Well, he made his choice. I felt the guilt momentarily, but then, as always, it was gone. There was little room for more regret in this old head of mine. Time had started to misbehave again. I recognized the sensation immediately, the way the hours stretched and sagged without permission, the way lamplight thickened as though it were trying to become something other. My office felt smaller than it should have, the walls leaning in with academic curiosity. The ring of summoning had no name. That alone should have been enough to make me stop. I read the same passage for the third time and finally allowed the thought I'd been circling all evening to land. I could trap her. Lucifer. Astaroth too, if I were careful and precise. The ring didn't care about rank. It only cared about ownership, locus and will. With the right preparation, the right sacrifice, the right anchoring of intent. Hell, without its rulers. An empty throne. I wondered, briefly, dangerously, what that absence would do to the world. Would humanity improve without its ancient adversaries? Or would something worse, something unimagined and unburdened by theology, crawl into the space they left behind? I have to admit, the thought thrilled me. And that was when the air changed. Not a draft, not movement. The room simply thickened, as if the atmosphere had become aware of me. I inhaled, and my blood went cold. Burnt sugar, cold ash. I looked up. Sure enough, she was already there. Lucifer sat in my chair as though she had always owned it, one leg crossed over the other with careless elegance. One elbow rested on my desk. In her arms was a small black cat, sleek and perfectly still, its eyes an impossible, venomous green. The animal stared at me with the focused dislike of something that knew exactly what I was and had never been impressed by it. Lucifer was exquisite. Not merely beautiful, deliberately so. Every feature felt designed rather than grown, sculpted by an intelligence that understood desire intimately and despised it just as much. Her skin had a faint, unnatural glow. Dark hair framed a face that could have inspired wars, religions, or both, and furthermore, had done so countless times and would do so again. Her eyes were warm, amused, clever, and utterly merciless. Evil, I realized distantly, was not grotesque. Evil was convincing. For a long, humiliating second, I forgot how to breathe. Then she smiled. It was not kind.
Well?
She asked, adjusting the cat slightly as though it were an accessory rather than a predator.
That was a very interesting thought, Professor.
She winked at me.
So,
Lucifer continued, voice smooth and intimate.
what exactly were you planning to do with me once I was trapped?
Fear arrived late, but when it did, it was absolute. Before I could answer, before I could decide whether to shout or pray, there was a knock at the door. Ordinary, human, utterly absurd. Lucifer smiled, genuinely delighted.
Ah, this will be an interesting moment.
The room blinked, and she was gone. No smoke, no sound, no theatrical flourish. Just the faintest, lingering sweetness in the air, already souring into ash. Come in, I managed, my voice rough. The door opened, and Belphastus stepped inside. He looked whole, clean. He was uninjured and very much alive. I stood so fast my chair scraped violently across the floor. You can't be here, I said. You're dead, man! Belphastus inclined his head and stepped forward. Then he bowed, low, formal, infuriatingly calm. On the contrary, Professor, he said softly, I am precisely where I'm supposed to be. You bastard. Through the bewilderment of my stifled chamber, something rippled, and then settled within my ears. It took the form of a giggle. A giggle from the devil.
Brought to you in association with Grendel Press. This is Werewolf the Podcast, a serial killer drama.